Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Translation, purport and synonyms by Srila Gopal, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanand Hare. Thank you, Avinash Prabhu, and thank you, Purna Pragna Mataji, and thank you, Krishna Prabhu, for keeping you engaged and not letting me distract. And Prabhu, I've picked up very difficult topic, and I'm not qualified, but I'll try my best with my limited capacity and my superficial knowledge. So before we get into the King Bharat and how he got illusioned and what was his situation before and what was his situation after, about that illusory, the story, which is actually very inspiring, and Prabhupada writes a very nice purport for that verse, which I'm going to share today. It's a very difficult word to sing, but I'll try. I've broken it down. Hopefully I sing it correctly, but I'm not sure. So about Bharat Maharaj. Although Bharat Maharaj was very elevated, he fell down due to his attachment to a young deer. One day, after Bharat Maharaj had taken his bath as usual in the river Gandaki and was chanting his mantra, he saw a pregnant deer come to the river to drink water. Suddenly, there could be heard the thundering roar of a lion, and the deer was so frightened that it immediately gave birth to its calf. It then crossed the river but died immediately thereafter. Maharaj Bharat took compassion upon the motherless calf, rescued it from the water, took it to his ashram and cared for it affectionately. He gradually became attached to his young deer and always thought of it affectionately. As it grew up, it became Maharaj Bharat's constant companion, and he always took care of it. Gradually, he became so absorbed in thinking of this deer that his mind became agitated. As he became more attached to the deer, his devotional service slackened. Although he was able to give up his opulent kingdom, he became attached to the deer. Thus, he fell down from his mystic yoga practice, which Amrish was just talking about. Once, when the deer was absent, Maharaj Bharat was so disturbed that he began to search for it. While searching and lamenting the deer's absence, Maharaj Bharat fell down and died. Because his mind was fully absorbed thinking of the deer, he naturally took his next birth from the womb of a deer. However, because he was considerably advanced spiritually, he did not forget his past activities. Even though he was in the body of a deer, he could understand how he had fallen down from his exalted position. And remembering this, he left his mother deer and again went to Pulha ashram. He finally ended his fruitive activities in the form of deer, and when he died, he was released from the deer's body. And then he became Jad, Bharat and all that. So we are going to talk about this, how this entire thing happened, and what Bhagavatam talks about specifically, and what Srila Prabhupada is actually writing in his purport about how this everything, how this past time actually happened. So I can share the screen. Okay. 5888. Canto 5, chapter 8, verse number 8. Tasya havaena kunaka ucharitasmin kritanija vimanasya hastataposhan palan lalan priyananu dhyatnenatma niyamaha saha yamaha purusha paricharya yadya.
You can share the screen now. Sorry.
Ekai kashaya Ekaikashaya katipandre nahar ganena Vyuje atmanah kila sarva evo dasvan. Not letting me share, Prabhu. I don't know what.
Hold on, my
Okay,
screen
I'll
was
share.
frozen.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
I had a frozen screen, that's why I was delayed.
So that's the verse I was singing. Now, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada in synonyms. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tasya, of that king. Va, indeed. Ena kunake, in the deer calf. Uchaiha, greatly. Itasmin, in this. Krita nija abhimanasya, who accepted the calf as his own son. Aha, every day. Tat poshan, maintaining the calf. Palan, protecting from dangers. Lalan, raising it or showing love to it by kissing and so on. Prinana, petting it in love. Anudhyanena, by such attachment. Atma niyamaha, his personal activities for taking care of his body. Saha yamaha, with his spiritual duties such as non-violence, tolerance and simplicity. Purusa paricharya adaya, worshipping the supreme personality of Godhead and performing other duties. Ekashaha, every day. Katipayena, with only a few. Aha ganena, days of time. Viyu jamanaha, being given up. Kila, indeed, survey, all. Eva, certainly. Udavasan, become destroyed. Of that king, indeed, in the dear calf, greatly in this, who accepted the calf as his own son every day, maintaining that calf, protecting from dangers, raising it or showing love to it by kissing and so on, petting it in love, by such attachment, his personal activities for taking care of his body, with his spiritual duties such as non-violence, tolerance and simplicity, worshipping the supreme personality of Godhead and performing other duties every day with only a few days of time, being given up, indeed all certainly became destroyed. Translation. Gradually, Maharaj Bharat became very affectionate toward the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of tigers and other animals. When it itched, he petted it. And in this way, he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition. He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaj Bharat forgot the rules and regulation for the advancement of spiritual life. And he gradually forgot to worship the supreme personality of Godhead. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. Purport. From this, we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duties by observing the rules and regulation and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. We must rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangal Aarti, worship the deities, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, study the Vedic literature, and follow all the rules prescribed by the Acharyas and the spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse number 5. Yagna dana tapa karma natajam karyam evatat yagno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great soul. Even if one is renounced order, he should never give up the regulative principles. He should worship the deity and give his time and life to service of Krishna. He should also continue following the rules and regulations of austerity and penance. These things cannot be given up. One should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted a sannyas order. The activities of Bharat Maharaj should be carefully studied for one's spiritual advancement. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. So there are many punches here. And Prabhupada is concluding, one should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted sannyas order. The activities of Bharat Maharaj should be carefully studied for one's spiritual advancement. And when I was reading this and I was highlighting, I was thinking that if this can happen to Bharat Maharaj, what is the situation of other human beings like me? And in this translation, how much Bharat Maharaj got attached to the baby deer and what happened to his devotional service. Maharaj Bharat forgot the rules and regulations for the advancement of spiritual life, and he gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. That is what happens when we don't follow the rules. And that's why Prabhupada is very hard onto this, and that's why they are so important to all of us to understand and follow these rules. I know it can be sometimes hard, but that's why the mentor and senior devotees, and we need to follow the rules. We need to set up our own standards so that we don't fall down or go back to our normal materialistic lifestyle. Another thing which in the word-to-word translation, the word which actually I was thinking about, Krita Nija Abhimanasya, who accepted the calf as his own son. So imagine this. I don't know if you have seen that how much people love their dog. And they treat dog like their son. How they feed, they sleep with them, they do everything. And if you see those people carefully, you will see them that they look like dog. Sorry to say like this. They are thinking more about dog. Now, the verses I wanted to share here about this illusion which happened to Bharat Maharaj and what was his situation before coming to this situation, when actually he renounced everything and came to Polis Muni Ashram, and he started doing those spiritual activities, which Bhagavatam talks about in the in the previous chapter, which I will quickly read so that we understand where Bharat Maharaj. But I can share this also. This was his situation when the most exalted devotee Maharaj Bharat in this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Naturally, his love for Vasudeva Krishna increased more and more and melted his heart. Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. The hairs of his body stood on end, and all the ecstatic bodily symptoms were manifest. Tears flowed from his eyes, so much so that he could not see anything Thus he constantly meditated on the reddish lotus feet of Lord. At this time, his heart, which was like a lake, was filled with the water of ecstatic love. When his mind was immersed in that lake, he even forgot the regulatory service to the Lord. So that was the situation of Bharat Maharaj before he actually got attached to the baby deer. And now Shukadeva Goswami is also talking about, while he's telling Parishit Maharaj about this story, that how the illusion can happen and what happened to him, so that we can understand that how illusion or Krishna's energy is so strong. So I understand, you all understand what illusion is. Like we all understand truth or absolute truth based on our understanding. We call it relative truth. Similarly, our illusions can also be relative, depending upon our consciousness. Because even somebody who is not getting started or who's a neophyte has a different illusion, or somebody who's advanced in Krishna consciousness can also be illusion. That's what I meant by doing this. And then there are different level of consciousness, different level of realizations. Our illusion can be different or can be progressive. And we are all in the process of getting rid of illusion. And that is why these classes, that association, this chanting, and that's why all those scriptures came into existence, so that we can realize our situation. We can understand our constitutional position. We can connect to the God. And depending upon level of understanding or illusion, we realize Krishna. We'll come to that also as we go. And this illusion part, illusion is just opposite to knowledge, to truth, absolute truth. This is when I was reading the Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse number 1. The more than half of the verse is actually on this illusion also. Well, I'll try to refer that also, time permitting. This is all, and everybody can get illusion. So that was the situation of Bharat Maharaj. And what happened to him after, when actually, what Shukadeva Goswami is talking about him. That what happened to him and why this happened to him. So we'll go directly to Bhagavatam and find out what Shukadeva Goswami continued. My dear king, in this way, Bharat Maharaj was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire which was manifest in the form of the deer. Very important, because we all have desires, different level of desires. Due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity, and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is where we are in control. If it were not due to his past fruitive activity, how could he have been attracted to the deer after giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life? See, he was so realized, he knew everything, but this is what happened. This is Shukadeva Goswami talking about. His desires, his fruitive activities. Further, how could he show such uncontrollable affection for a deer? This was definitely due to his past karma. We are in a very precarious situation because we are always doing some activity. The king was so engrossed in petting and maintaining a deer that he fell down from his spiritual activities. In due course of time, insurmountable death, which is compared to venomous snake that enters the hole created by a mouse, situated itself before him. That's how it out. So before he saw that baby deer, he started looking after the deer. He was so elevated, but this is what happened after he saw that deer dying and so fragile, baby deer, and Bhagavatam talks about very elaborately. So if this can, and obviously these kind of things in Bhagavatam are actually for us to understand where we are at and how we don't fall down and how actually we continue doing our services, continue doing our devotional activities. And that is the biggest challenge in this Kali Yuga. That's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the formula of actually chanting Krishna's name. So now, when I was thinking about this happened to Bharat Maharaj. Even this happened to Ved Vyas Muni also, this illusion. When he wrote all the scriptures before writing Bhagavatam, his Guru Maharaj Narad Muni came and took him out of that illusion. That's again a long story. And this has actually happened to Narad Muni also once. These are all pastimes. Means this illusion can happen to anyone and at any time. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about this. This illusion is actually why this illusion is happening. And these are Krishna's energies. Depending on our desire, depending upon our activities, these energy come into force and we are distracted. That's what happened to Bharat Maharaj, King Maharaj. Now, if you go further deeper into this energies or the illusions, there are two kinds of energies which I'm going to talk about predominantly. One is Mahamaya, which we are talking about, and one is Yog Maya. That is also energy, Krishna energy. Maya Devi, because illusion is actually Mayam. Mayam, it comes into translation. Mayam is actually illusion. So there are two kinds of Maya, Maya Devis, Yog Maya and Mahamaya. So Mahamaya is actually, her job is to separate us from the Supreme Personality of Godhead or detaching from the wrong conception about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very elaborately spoken in, Prabhupada writes about this in Bhagavatam seed verses 2:9-34. This Mahamaya and Yog Maya. And Yog Maya is actually, it helps you to connect with Krishna, to attach with Krishna. These are two energies. And depending upon your realization level, depending upon your purity level, these energies come into force. Now, we go back to that purport, which I actually, the initial purport we're studying about the 5.5.8.8. Canto 5, chapter 5, verse number 8. Because Prabhupada is like giving very clear instruction. There is no if and but, and From this, we can understand how we can have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duties by observing the rules and regulation and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. As simple as this. It is simple to follow and it is simple to forget. And Prabhupada further write, if we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. Means there is no if and but. And then he talks about that how we do our activity every day so that our senses are engaged, we are engaged, and we don't fall down and we remain focused on our ultimate goal. One should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted sannyas order. Prabhupada has written this with the purpose that just having those status doesn't qualify one to be advanced, because advancement is depending upon how Prabhupada writes here, he should also continue following the rules and regulation of austerity and penance. Otherwise, our senses are so strong that they will take us away and will fall down. When I was preparing for this discussion, even in Ishopanishad, the Ishopanishad, I think verse number 15, mantra number 15 talks about Hiranmaya Patrena, where Krishna, Prabhupada writes in the purport about last snare of Maya. And anybody knows what is the last snare of Maya? Just out of interest. The last snare of Maya is, I am the Supreme. When you start advancing in Krishna consciousness activity, when you start realizing, when you become a mystic yogi, when you have Brahman realization, when you have super soul realization, and they are very knowledgeable people. And I'll quickly share that verse also, so that probably by that example we can relate. And Prabhupada is very hard onto this. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi tamukham tat tvam pushan aparunu satya dharmaya drishyate is satya dharmaya, opposite to illusion. Translation. O my Lord, sustainer of all the lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. In fact, it is further mentioned that it is many times more effulgent than the sun, Krishna's face. So non-devotees cannot, or even pure devotees, they are not qualified, they cannot see Krishna's face. And how lucky we are that we can go to temple and we can see Krishna's face, how merciful Krishna is. But to see Krishna and Krishna's deity is not for everyone. Otherwise, it is like looking to sun, trying to see Krishna. Where is Krishna? Oh my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Now, further, when we try to understand this illusion, this is a very big topic. Entire Bhagavatam and Gita is on this topic only. How do we come out of this illusion? How do we understand what absolute truth is? How do we get the pure knowledge? How do we implement that knowledge? So it's actually, that's why probably it's not easy and it's not for everyone. Now this illusion, there are three kinds of realizations we talk about: Brahman realization, super soul realization, and Bhagavan realization. And this effulgence is talking about realization for those devotees or yogis who think that Krishna is impersonal. They study the same Bhagavad Gita, they study the same Bhagavatam, they study everything same, but they believe something else. They just can't see. And for them, this effulgence is so strong that they cannot see Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is again saying that I'm covered with my own energy. Now this illusion, one is that we are talking to, we move around, we meet a lot of people, we see a lot of people, and we understand why they cannot understand this knowledge, why they cannot leave onion, garlic, why cannot change their habits, why they cannot chant, and we think they are under illusion. But I am talking about Brahman realization. People who have realized, those who have studied Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, even they cannot realize Krishna. This illusion is so powerful. Even to the next level, if you go, when super soul realization, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdeti. So even super soul realization, people understand there is a God, he's incarnating, he's doing this, he's that, they can feel it. Yeah, they can give you all the arguments, they will understand the same meaning. Prabhupada is so hard on impersonalism in his purpose in Gita and in Bhagavatam that that I think he thinks this is the biggest problem we have got. Biggest situation, biggest challenge a devotee faces. That's why it's last snare of Maya. So as a devotee, when we are starting on this devotional path to realize Krishna, to realize his activities, pastime, personalization, this is how much we have to go through. Process is very difficult. At the same time, process is very simple also. We create our own problems. We give our own excuses. We justify as we want to justify. So when I meet devotees, those who have been following Krishna consciousness with me, and we move around and we talk to new people who are actually starting 1 round, 2 round chanting, their illusions are different. I'm not personal, I'm just trying to put up a point here. I may be wrong here because it's very hard. My Guru Maharaj will say you cannot judge someone. You know, Gita is very strong, you cannot judge. So now I would like to share that verse of Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse number 1, which is so, half of the verse is actually, this is about illusion.
Bharat.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadi asya yato anvayadi taratas chathe swavinyaswarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye munyanti yat surayah tejo varimradam yatha vinimayo yatra tisargo amrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhukam satyam param dhimahi. So from here, Adi Kavaya Muyanti Yat Surya, Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinama, Yatrati Sarvamrisha, Dhamna Swin Sada Nirastu Kukam. This is all illusion. I'll go to the translation. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudev. O all pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universe. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. Now from here, by him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusionary representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Bhagavatam gives nice examples also. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifest by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. Again, illusion. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusionary representation of the material world. That is illusionary material world. This is our problem. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So to come out of this illusion, this is what we do. Meditate upon the absolute truth. What is absolute truth? How to get there? What is the process? What is the bona fide process? So to me, this illusion is a big problem. Whatever we are attached to, if it is not helping us to progress, is our illusion. When attachment comes from our desire or something we want to enjoy. It may be related to our body, it may be related to our society, it may be related to our nation, it may be related to our pet, it may be related to our car, whatever. Or this is what I do, this is what I like. So, illusion. And I feel that it's Bharat Maharaj got illusioned because he was on his own. There are many reasons, but probably if he would have association, I think it's a pastime. I should not go there. Yeah? And but you need someone to remove your illusion, to guide you, so that you can practice, because this is a lifetimes of conditioning of our mind that we are under illusion. We just don't realize. And that's the science of self-realization, is especially science of coming out of that illusion, realizing. Bona fide system, mentors, spiritual guide, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, whatever Guru. But it is our responsibility to actually understand and get the reference also that we are not losing the focus. Because if this can happen to King Bharat, it can happen to anyone. He was so spiritually advanced. The entire previous chapter talks about his glorification, how he used to rule and how many wife and children and what he actually left to come to this. Imagine our situation. We may have one house, two house, one car, two car, or some bank balance, or maybe something else, some position also. Prabhupada has taught us that how, with all those situations, how we can come out of that illusion. He will say that you just don't give up anything, just start chanting, just add Krishna to this. That's a starting point. And then Krishna and ABC we talk about, Sadhu Sangha. So it's a very precarious situation. We are in material world. We have no idea about the absolute truth. We are continuously struggling. We are struggling to find time to study, to chant, to do arti on time, because I talk to devotees every day, including myself. And that's why those association, that systematic knowledge is so important. Otherwise, it is actually impossible. Now, same thing, I would probably let Krishna talk about this, what I'm referring to. Krishna is talking about this very elaborately, about this process of coming out of illusion. But I will refer 7:14, chapter 7, verse number 14. And I would expect some question on this, because illusion is something which all we are going through all the time. Daiviha isha gurmai mama maya durattaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Devi, transcendental, he certainly, isha, this, gurmai, consisting of the three modes of material nature, mama, maya, energy, durattaya, very difficult to overcome, mam, unto me, eva, certainly, ye, those, prapadyante, surrender, mayam etam, this illusionary energy, mayam etam, taranti, overcome, they. Translation. The divine energy of mind, consisting of three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. End of story. This divine energy of mind, consisting of divine energy, Yogamaya, consisting of three modes of material, divine energy, I leave it like this, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So by surrendering to Krishna, we can cross beyond it. And that's what we saw, that King Bharat actually lost focus. He got attached to the deer body. He thought, oh, it's so fragile, animals will kill it, and how the baby calf can look after itself, and how he's in trouble, I have to do it. If I don't do it, who can do it? And in the process, he actually stopped doing what he was doing. And that's how he got distracted. And his surrender, which we are talking about, is actually was not surrendered. He was definitely not surrendered. That's why he left those processes, what he was doing before. But eventually he eventually went back to Godhead. That's a different story. He got a deer body, then next he got a Jad Bharat body, and he understood really. He was an advanced, realized soul, so he remembered his previous lives. So this illusion is not knowing the truth or not having the knowledge. Knowledge as it is actually very dangerous. And we all actually, and this materialistic use this knowledge or this skill to prove their point, to do things. They actually cheat. I'm talking about cheating here, not telling the truth. And it is up to us that how we come out of this situation, how we actually become knowledgeable, and how we become intelligent, and how we actually get the correct knowledge. And that's why our Guru Maharaj will always say, remember, he's telling me, you don't need to read any other book other than Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Everything is there. And believe me, I don't read any other book. Actually, I don't have time. And those books and Prabhupada's, and he says that Prabhupada has given everything into this. Everything he has given into these two books. And that's how we can come out of those illusions. That's because Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita as it is, and word-to-word translation of Bhagavatam and all those verses and his realizations. And when I was getting started, I was telling that, tell me any topic which Bhagavatam doesn't talk about. You talk about advancement, tell me any topic which Bhagavatam doesn't talk about. For that, they have to actually study Bhagavatam to tell me what is not covered in Bhagavatam. So I think this illusion is very important. We all covered by this illusion, different level of illusions. Because we're in material world, except pure devotees. Because we are attached to something. And that's why Prabhupada books and Maharaj's guidance and this association of Hare Krishna, that's the reason why I could not leave this place. I'm still here. Because source of knowledge is so critical. Purity of knowledge. No side motive, no vertical motive, no that motive, no motive, no. What is this? Tell me. And that is only way of getting out of these illusions. And we are responsible for this. Nobody else. So I have a lot to say, but because illusion is something which is entire Bhagavatam is covering this point. I will, if anybody want to say anything, or if you've got some questions which are talked about, you feel free to ask or share the realization. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sri Prabhu.
Thank you very much for your nice class, and it's very important topic actually. And good references you've given. Just wanted to want you to clarify a couple of points for me, Prabhuji. One is that about the karma, that because when we follow the devotional service and we do the chanting of Mahamantra and holy name of the Lord, that destroy our past karmas, right? And at the elevated stage that Bharat Maharaj was. So is that past karma was still remaining, or how that works, Prabhuji?
I had the same question, and that's why I kept reading. And then when I read, Shukdev Goswami talking about this, and Shukdev Goswami talks about this. Remember that 5:8:26 I did. Do you want me to refer that also? He talks very elaborate. I'll quickly refer that actually. Good for everyone. Thank you. It's a very nice question, Prabhu. It's very nice question. Yeah, Shukdev Goswami continued, my dear king, in this way Bharat Maharaj was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire which was manifest in the form of the deer. Uncontrollable desire. Due to the fruity results in his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity and worship of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Authority of Godhead. Yeah. If it were not due to his past fruity activity, how could he have been attracted to the deer after giving up association of his own son and family, considering themselves stumbling blocks on the path of civil life? That's what Shukdev Goswami is telling. Means there was something in his heart, in his head, in his, I don't know. Yeah, this is what.
So the attachment comes from our past conditioning.
Yes, the conditioning. We carry all those things to previous next body also. Yeah, subtle body will carry all those things. Yeah, to breaking that bonding of subtle body and spirit soul. That's what we are talking about.
Yes.
That's
so the purificatory process that we follow, obviously, is step by step, and that's means is certain levels that we have to reach.
Yeah, yeah. There is a shortcut also. Yeah, he went to jungle and all those things. Yeah, we can do chant and purify.
Yes.
Prabhupada has given everything. Yeah. Yes, I have not covered that point that how we come out. I wanted to talk about religion. But there is a process. How do we come out of the illusion? Do we know that? Yeah.
Yes.
The situation. Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Sorry, Prabhuji. I had another point. So, like I just said that Bharat Maharaj was shown compassion to a deer and he was helpless. So does it mean that as a devotee or when we follow spiritual path, we don't show compassion to other living entities?
Hare Krishna. That's again very. I know you know the answer, Prabhu. It's a good question for other devotees. No, Prabhu. Yeah, here also what happened? He actually saved that calf. He got attached to it and he left the process. Regulatory lifestyle. He left it. He chose not to do it. So we don't become inhuman, but we quickly realize that, okay, we are not God. We are not God. We have to come out. Yeah, that's a problem. When we start doing charity activity, when we start doing all those activity, we get attached to that activity. Don't come back to this. Our original situation of following that process. Is that correct answer? I'm sure you can correct if I'm wrong, bro.
Could you repeat the question again, please, so I can understand your answer?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was saying that when we follow the spiritual path, and as we've seen the example of Bharat Maharaj, that he's shown compassion to a helpless deer. So does it mean that we don't show the compassion to helpless or this type of living entities, or we become like a stone, like
Jad Bharat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Avinash, for your nice class on covering many points, and thank you, Sanjay Guru, for your question too. Ultimately, what happens is this: that when we are in the stage where the attachment of Krishna is immense, we love everybody, we serve everybody without attachment, and in the mood of detachment, we're attached. This would be understood a little later on as you progress. Right now, because we do not have, as long as we don't have these required skills where we can be attached with detachment. We're attached. That's why the cause of fall down. And that's why Bharat Maharaj at this stage was not at the stage of prema. He was at the stage of bhav. And this is a stage where the past karma also works. Yeah, karma has to be eradicated, but it will come as we eradicate it. It will be coming a little later on, at the stage of bha as a prem. Is this okay? Is this all right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Hare
Is it okay, Avinash and Shobhu? You can,
Yes, yes,
it's all right?
perfect. Thank you, Guru. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Avinash Babu. Thank you, dear devotees, for your time. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Avinash Shobhu, for your nice class today on the topic, which is a very dynamic topic. It's a very bold, very long topic too, and it is a level of realization. And that's the reason why when we listen to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's different dialogues and commentaries and association with many devotees and Q&As, all this is more revealed. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. So now we will those who are following us on YouTube will be quickly disconnecting you and joining back in about 20 seconds again, right? And those who are with us, just be around, and I'd like to see everyone's faces. So yes, Hare Krishna. We'll continue with our program now with the nectar of with the Bhagavad Gita introduction, part 2, and I think Parth Prabhu used to reading it. Is he still there? How's his health now?
Hello, Hare Krishna.
Yes. Are you there? You're not there? You're not. I can't see you.
Yeah, Prabhu. I'm turning on my camera. There's some work going on in my house.
For some reason, my screen is freezing today.